Hi, this is Rachel Roberts, and I am the audiobook narrator for Jordan's point of view in the book The Dancing Girl by S. Hotchkiss. This is my booth. This is where I recorded all of Jordan's perspective. And sorry I look like this. I just try to be an embodied voice on the internet, but I wanted to be able to talk still. So that's why I look like this. So I wanted to talk a little bit about The Dancing Girl as a book and Jordan as a character and how her sound was crafted. So when I first got the project, I thought it was possible that Jordan was sort of this damsel in distress. She's young, she's an exotic dancer, she's attacked on pretty much the first page of the book, and it's possible that she just needed to be rescued, and that was part of the thrill of the book. But Jordan isn't that. She kind of maybe starts out that way a little bit, but she, through her experiences and as she develops, becomes a powerful, formidable force to be reckoned with a new identity, a new determination, and a new purpose. So what I tried to do with her voice is start a little bit melancholy, flat to start. And then as she has more experiences, she starts to have fear, anxiety, worry, panic, all these fearful, anxious emotions. And she starts to behave that way, but she doesn't lose her sass and spark and tenacity in those moments. And then she eventually starts to learn to channel all of that into determination and grit and drive it to be the new person that she wants to be. So I tried to channel that into her voice then to make her very powerful, to make her fierce, and step into that character who becomes a new force to be reckoned with. So that's the journey of her voice as it gets plotted out throughout the novel. And hopefully you can give it a listen and hear that too. Working on this novel was a joy. It was great to work with S. Hotchkiss on his debut novel. I can't wait to see what Jordan does next in the future novels. Patrick, who is the voice of Dennis, is an amazing and talented narrator. He really embodied Dennis, I think, completely. And working with both of them was a joy on this project. And I think it came together in a really symbiotic way. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'd love to hear your feedback when you give it a listen. Thanks so much. The Dancing Girl, Book 1 of the Dancing Girl series. Written by S. Hotchkiss. Narrated by Rachel Roberts and Patrick Shawn. Stepping back into the parking lot, the first thought that prickled my skin was how much darker it seemed than when I'd gone in. My gaze snagged on a shadow, a man leaning against his car, perfectly positioned between me and my own car. He didn't seem to notice me. Normally, that would put me at ease, but tonight, dressed in 5-inch heels, shiny black vinyl short shorts, and a crop top that left little to the imagination, someone not noticing me made me highly suspicious. It was as if he was deliberately trying to appear as though he hadn't seen me. I fixed my stare straight ahead, refusing to make eye contact, and I tried to pick up my pace, a ridiculous effort given the stilettos. I shifted the grocery bag to my left arm, my fingers already fumbling for my car keys tucked into the waistband of my shorts. I just wanted that door open, and me inside, fast. Out of the corner of my eye, I caught his subtle shift. His body straightened, a casual pose turning into one with purpose. My nerves, already frayed, snapped. I fumbled the keys, and they clattered to the ground. As I squatted down, scrambling to retrieve them, I could practically feel his presence just behind me. Keys back in hand, I quickly shifted them, trying to isolate a single sharp edge to use as a weapon. I pivoted, ready to strike, but he was closer than I thought. His hand was a vice around my throat before I could even complete the turn. The grocery bag dropped with a muffled thud. I lunged, driving the key toward him, but again, I was too slow. His other hand clamped around my wrist, crushing my attempt. The pressure on my throat intensified, cutting off my breath, and a sickening lightheadedness began creeping in. With the haze of panic and the rush of blood in my ears, only one thought truly crystallized in my mind. This night really sucks.
The fluorescent hum of the store sign had dimmed. replaced by the hushed whisper of the parking lot at the late hour. My breath fogged in the cool night air as I watched her emerge holding a grocery bag in her arms. The parking lot lights had been cut with surgical precision, plunging the asphalt into gloom where only the distant street lamps cast long, distorted shadows. The camera feeds had been cut moments before, confirming my suspicions. He was here, and he was good. Too good to be random. My gaze, however, lingered on her. She was beautiful, undeniably. A dangerous kind of beauty, especially in that outfit. I had seen her inside the club earlier in the evening. I watched her dance, yes, but mostly watched her work. She moved with a natural grace, but there was a coiled tension, a watchful intelligence in her eyes. I had seen her handle the last creep who dared to put his hand on her. No fear, just cold, efficient defiance. A knee to the groin that echoed with a satisfying thump. Then the icy stare down with the angry manager. She hadn't backed down, not an inch. A sharp, unexpected admiration had flickered through me then. She wasn't the kind of woman I usually watched out for. Not in my line of work. But that didn't mean she was weak. But the man standing between her and her car was a different caliber entirely. Not a typical opportunistic street predator. His posture, the way he occupied the space, the methodical disablement of the surveillance. This was an operator. Focused, professional. He wasn't looking for a quick score or a cheap thrill. He was a problem. Far bigger than she could possibly imagine. My initial assessment had been about the hunter, not the prey. I made my move then, before she dropped her keys, before he got closer. I watched her fumble, saw the frantic scramble, and knew with chilling certainty that hesitation could be fatal. Not just for her, but for the intricate game currently in play. The target wasn't just anyone. She was the key to something, though I still didn't know everything.